Hi, my name is Liberty Sewell, and I am a senior business management student, and today I will be presenting on Mexico. The agenda, or things I'll be talking about, are Mexico's view of its environment and circumstances. So, say for instance, are people more likely to believe that fate and destiny determine their environment and circumstances, or do people believe that their own self determine their environment and circumstances? Long term versus short term orientation, masculinity versus femininity, the corruption index in Mexico, and what are some possible areas that need to be changed, and the worst travel times, holidays, and weather, of course. Mexico's view of its environment and circumstances is shaped on fatalism or fatalismo. This is essentially the belief that external forces, such as fate and destiny, determine certain things in life. Many speak or pray to the Virgin of Guadalupe. The Virgin of Guadalupe is seen as a messenger to God. Of course, somebody's fatalism may depend on how religious they are. So, say for instance that someone is more religious, they may be more likely to believe in fate and destiny. However, the less religious someone is, they may be more likely to believe that themselves can control their environment and circumstances. Now, one may believe that fatalism may have some downsides, right? So, let's say in this example, healthcare. Some may think that it's God's will, it's God's way. However, according to Federalismo Reconsidered on cancer screenings, it actually has been inconclusive on the research that people will not go to the doctor due to believing in fatalism, that it's God's will and God's way. Mexico scores 24 out of 100 on long-term orientation. This means it's low long-term or short-term orientation. People will focus on instant results, present focus thinking, and planning. So, for instance, there's a company that has an issue or a problem. The employees will want to quickly try to resolve the issue and not think about the future. Hence, less emphasis on the long term goals and more focus on the now, the present. Mexico scores 69 out of 100 on masculinity. By no means does this mean that there are more men than women. Masculinity is essentially the cultural traits or behaviors. So, a more masculine culture is more assertive and competitive, versus, say, a feminine culture, which is more caring and nurturing. So, since Mexico is more assertive and competitive, there's value placed on achievement, recognition, performance, and ambition. Mexico scores 26 out of 100 on the corruption index. The closer a country is to 0, the more corrupt they are. The closer a country is to 100, the less corrupt they are. So, with Mexico having a score of 26 out of 100, that means it's highly corrupt. Areas that need improvement are lobbying and transparency of public information. Lobbying can be seen as where you essentially influence certain groups of people to think what you believe, uh, as an example. Transparency of public information is essentially just giving information to the public that they deserve to know. Recently, actually, Mayor Carlos Manzo was killed during a Day of the Dead celebration on November 1st. He was known as somebody that was against cartels, and it was highly known that he was against cartels. His killing led to protests by Gen Z in Mexico City. Their protests were about the rise in cartel violence and government corruption. Finally, I'll talk about the worst times to travel. Please excuse me for my mispronunciation. Dia de los Muertos, which is Day of the Dead, is November 1st and 2nd. This is a time for families or friends to honor loved ones that have passed. They may do this by visiting ceremonies or making altars at home. Marigolds, the flower, can be seen to help guide spirits, and candles can help them see the way to you. Independence Day is on September 16th. This is a time of celebration, massive gatherings, fireworks, and parades. Parades may cause, of course, road closures, which may lead to heavy traffic in the area. So it may be best to avoid going to Mexico during these two times, as they are both in celebration of people that have been lost and their independence. Weather: it's tropical storm and hurricane season from May to November. This means that there will more than likely be a heavy, abundant amount of rainfall, which can lead to flooding, of course. Hurricane season: you never know if there may be a hurricane on the horizon, which may lead to some flight delays. So it's important during these times that someone who plans on visiting Mexico on business has flexibility and understands the weather or the holidays that may be occurring at the time. Thank you for listening. If there are any questions, please let me know and I'm happy to answer them. Thank you.